What's up, YouTube? How you doing? Hope you're having a great day. I am doing episode number 99 on the Luke Mind Power show. Sorry, I said Luke's Mind Power podcast because I changed the name from that to the Luke Mind Power show. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to come live on YouTube first because I want to go live on Facebook as well. But I don't know if it's going to work if I try to double up. So let's see if we can make it happen. So bear with me for a moment. Title. Let's see if it works on Facebook as well at the same time. Seems like it's going to work. Here we go. Is it live or what? Yeah, it is. It is working, isn't it? Hectic. Hectic. We are live on Facebook as well. Let me double check. I just want to make sure this is all working, guys, because I am live. Absolutely. All right, let's press record on my audio on my laptop, and let's press record on. I'm going to go live on TikTok as well. Okay, finally, I'm here, guys. What's going on? All right, let's. I got to open up my page because I said episode 99. This is the Luke Mind Power Show. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day. Man, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks actually since episode 98. Man, I've been so busy with my business and with my Superpower Mastermind, which I'm going to talk about, which is my 6-week program that is transforming people's lives. But I wanted to make this episode a special one because I wanted to answer questions from you guys. So let's dive straight into that. But before I do, let me just share a little bit of inspiration and motivation for you. One of the easiest things for us to do in life is to give up, is to slow down, is to just say, you know what, this is too much. I can't handle this. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. And working towards that happiness or that peace or getting that balance in your life is actually, it's not an easy task, right? But I think what's worse is for you to not do anything, is for you to just be like, I can't handle this, and not do anything at all, right? And that's why it's important, right, to slow down. It's important to reconnect with yourself. It's important to reach out for help. One of the biggest revelations that I had myself over the last few days was that one of my best friends is also my therapist. And, the therapist needs a therapist, and it's true. Like being able to be in an environment where you're, or in a state, in a space of life where you actually are okay, and you're able to come to the reasoning that, hey, you don't have it all together. Like, you're not perfect. We're not perfect, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out and say, hey, you know what, I'm struggling, I'm stressed, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm not managing, or I'm overthinking shit. So super, super crucial for you to be okay with asking for help, be okay with reaching out, because again, the ego can get the better of you and say, you know what, you don't ask for help, don't reach out, you can manage on your own. So that's something that I've realized myself, that I wouldn't be able to be here had I not had the support from family, had I not had the support from, one of my best friends through this journey. I wouldn't be able to deliver the work that I deliver that's why your network, your environment that you're in, is crucial, right? That you have the right support, and you have that positive vibes, the positive energy, because your mind can be your own worst enemy. And I grew up with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of insecurity, and feelings of inadequacies, and those conversations. Like, even now I'm dealing with them. Like, speaking live right now, I hear the voices that you're not making sense. It's not valuable information. People are not going to learn from you. All that kind of stuff. Like, it's a constant barrage of bullshit, negative voices, right, that are coming at you, and you've got to find the will and the desire and the fight to just keep showing up and keep going. You know, and that's why it's so easy for you to give up, and for you to feel like you're not good enough, and feel like you're not making ground or moving forward, and that's really going to that's really going to affect your life if you let it. You know, so I've had to learn this on my journey as well. That you've got to slow down. You've got to take time for you. You've got to find that balance. You've got to rest, recharge, reset, disconnect yourself from what you're doing, so that you can not get overwhelmed. And when you do feel that overwhelmed, slow down or ask for help. Take a time out. Self-care is so important. Meditate, go for walks, exercise. But even from exercising, right? I have a pretty strict routine, and 6 days a week I like to go to the gym. But I find that even that can be overwhelming, because you're putting pressure on yourself, right, to do these things every single day. And so, like, I've been stuck in this routine, and I'm like, well, Luke, you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. You're feeling a bit stressed. Okay, don't go to the gym today. If that's putting extra pressure on you, as much as it's healthy, right? If that's putting extra pressure, don't go to the gym. Take it easy, right? So be mindful. Again, this is everything that I talk about is self-awareness, right? It's coming back to you and going, okay, what do I need? How can I put less pressure on myself today, because I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling overwhelmed. So tune in, guys. Tune into your thoughts. Tune into what brings you peace, what you need, because you're not a robot. You're not a computer, right? Even computers crash. So anyway, let me just go to the Dream Chasers, which is my Facebook group, because I put a post in there, and there's many people that answered this post when I said, ask me anything. So I'm going to answer these questions. So let's go straight into it. Where is it? It's here. Ask me anything. Here we go. So there's 11 comments. So I'm going to answer these questions for you guys right about now. Okay, Nika, she said, how are you? Well, let's be honest. How am I? I am fantastic. I'm fabulous. I'm extraordinary. I'm alive. It's a blessing to be alive. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have hands. I'm grateful that I have hands that I can type, right? My friend Danilo, DJ Danilo, told me that he burnt his fingers the other day, and he's realized how much his fingers play a role in the work that he does as a DJ. And again, I hurt my thumb. I cut myself 8 months ago, and I realized that I also was struggling with, using my hands properly, because my thumb was affected, right? Was cut. And so he just made me realize, wow, look at all the work that you do, Luke, on social media, and connecting with people, and posting, and creating. And you do a lot of typing. You use your hands a lot. And I'm like, wow, imagine you didn't have your hands. So again, just this is a gratitude mindset, coming back to being grateful for what you do have, because we do focus on what we don't have. Our mind tends to lean towards that negativity. Hence why I don't watch the news, and I don't pay attention to the media. So if you're being consumed by that right now, I highly recommend and invite you to switch that shit off, and do not pay attention to the news. Do not watch the news. They do such a fucking good job with even on YouTube. Like it's a paid ad. The first paid ad is the news, right? Go on YouTube on my phone, and the first ad there, it's news. And I'm like, fuck, they just don't stop. They just want you to be fueled by negativity. And all that does is it consumes your mind and puts more fear um, into your mindset. And then you can't stay in a grateful state, in a positive state. You're constantly thinking about the worst case scenario and what can go wrong in your life. So thank you for that question, Nika. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive and do what I do to help people live their best lives, um, overcome their fears and challenges. And I'm grateful that I have hands. I don't know, that just kind of went there because it's a blessing to be able to connect with people online, and I do a lot of typing. So, yeah. Michelle, next question is from Michelle. Do I apply for my dream job and leave everyone to pursue my dream? Michelle, I would tell you straight up, I would just say yes. The fact that you're making inquiries into that, the fact that you're asking this kind of question, I think that's super powerful. And it does take a lot of courage and will to actually do something like that. And it's exactly what I did back at the end of 2018, because I was working for a government job. And now I'm helping people change their lives. So I think it's worth it. Don't ever feel, I think when you get to a certain age, whether it's in your 40s or 50s or whatever, you tend to think that, life is, I'm done, or I'm too old to change. It can be overcoming your depression or anxiety or whatever it is that you're dealing with right now. You may feel like, well, this is part of who I am. I guess I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Okay. Again, that's an ignorant mindset. Now, I know that may seem, let me get this into your head right now, guys. Some of the stuff that I'm going to say is going to trigger you. And if it triggers you, that's amazing. It's beautiful, right? When you get triggered, you got to lean into that shit. You got to ask yourself the questions. Why am I being triggered? Why has what this person said hurt my feelings? You got to lean into that, man. The more you lean into your triggers, the more you heal, the more you understand what it is that is within you that's hurting, that needs to be fixed, that needs to be addressed. Um, so the ignorant part, right? The ignorance, because ignorance is bliss. It's comfortable, right? You don't have to change, right? You stay in that comfort zone and you continue to be with those thoughts of, this is my life. I've been depressed for the last 10 years. I've been diagnosed with this. So this is what I need to continue to live with. This is what I need to continue to do and just be, right? But getting out of that and taking action on you. And again, that's why inside my program, for example, if you have a look at my Facebook story, you're watching this today, you have a look at my Facebook story, I posted a testimonial of one of my clients. Her name is Malvina, and she shared one of the on the story. She shared one of the powerful things, right? She said one of the reasons that she's having such a big transformation as well is because she's surrounded by other like-minded individuals, other women like herself, who are overcoming their fears, their struggles, their depression, anxiety, trauma, abuse. And you're in a positive, empowering, supportive environment. And sometimes we need that. It's that extra push that you get. Look, make it simple. Think about this, right? You go to a gym and you're like, I can't do this. So what do? You go, okay, maybe I should get a personal trainer. Or what does a personal trainer do? He's there or she's there to give you that extra energy, to give you that extra push, to give you that extra support of when you feel like you're about to give up, they go, one more, just do it, one more push. Same thing. When you surround yourself with an environment where people are supporting you, then you're going to feel like giving up. But because you have that extra support, that community, there's that extra energy for you to go, oh, fuck, I was about to give up. But, because I've got these other gladiators around me, I kept going, So your mind can be your own worst enemy, and by yourself you can easily give up. But Michelle, if I was you, I would I would leave everyone to pursue my dream. You get one life, one chance. You know, you don't want to live with regret. You don't want to keep going down the road, and then 10 years later you go, damn, I should have gone for that job, or I should have pursued my dream. You're never going to get another chance like this in this world and life that you're in. So exactly what I did 2.5 years ago, back in the end of 2018. I quit my job and I said, nah, I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to overcome this fear of feeling inadequate and afraid of public speaking and shit like that. Again, a lot of the things, the conversations that go on in your head because of the perceptions that you feel or think because of what other people are thinking of you. And so that stops you from living your dream and doing what you believe is right for you, or just what you enjoy, or what you want to overcome. Because for me, that was definitely part of the overcoming process, that I was afraid to be me. Any moment or time or experience that I would have where I'd have to speak about me or share who it is that I am or introduce myself in front of people, I would be afraid. Okay. And that's just where I lacked confidence. I lacked that self-esteem and ability to just communicate. Right. And the vulnerability part. And that's why I say positivity is a superpower, but vulnerability is the superpower. Right. Because you can feel that fear, feel that anxiousness, feel that nervousness, but still, because you have a strong relationship with yourself, which is what I've built over the last 3 years, is I love me. Right. I built a really strong relationship with me. So in any event or any circumstance that comes up where I feel anxious or nervous, right, that's great because I know that I'm getting out of my comfort zone, but I won't stop. And the reason why I won't stop is because I love me. I love myself enough to know that, hey, right, I'm a bit nervous, I'm a bit anxious, but I'm still going to keep doing this because I love me enough to do it. And every time I do it and get out of your comfort zone, you grow. You grow more confidence in yourself. And as a previous post that I posted on my Facebook about my inner child, about my younger version of myself, I say, when you feel anxious or you feel afraid or you feel a little bit of that fear, that's like your younger version of yourself is saying to you, oh man, I don't feel safe, right? I feel scared. So as a conscious adult, right, I stand up for that younger version of myself and I say, hey, bro, I know you're scared, but I got your back. I'm here. It's uncomfortable because we haven't been here before, but I'm not going to let you down. So that's the mindset that I have. And that's why I'm so fucking determined and I keep showing up and pushing because I got my own back and I'm showing up for my younger version of myself. So Michelle, take action, man. Live your dreams. Do what you believe in, and don't let anyone stop you. Um, let's go to the next question. Vivian, what's your Father's Day look like? I noticed that it's Father's Day in America. Father's Day in Australia is in September. Father's Day, I am. It's a good deep question. Actually, you're making me think about the possibility that I could have been a father, but I made a decision, unfortunately. Well, at the time it was the right decision, but I made a decision not to have a child back in 2016. And yeah, well, I'm not a dad. I don't have a child that is alive. I have a lot of nephews and nieces. So there's no Father's Day for me. But thank you for the question. In the future, possibly. But right now, I'm going to continue to do my thing and help people live their most successful lives ever. Simo, Simon from Perth. I think it's from Perth. Simon, when's Hans coming back? That's a great question, man. As you guys may or may not know, I do have an alter ego, different comic side to myself as well. You can follow Hans is Hot on TikTok and on Instagram. But back in February 2021, I created this comedian, funny guy from Austria. His name is Hans, and I was doing a lot of comedy. And yeah, it was really great. And I built up my TikTok account to like 150,000, and I was doing a lot of comedy. But again, I know that people love this guy, and he brought so much joy to people. And so I kind of got addicted to it for quite some time, and it was great. Like, I do have that funny side to me. I do have a very good sense of humor, but eventually that kind of faded a little bit for me, simply because it's not what I'm passionate about. What I'm passionate about is overcoming my own fears, right, of inadequacies and insecurity and all that shit, right? Which in turn has led me to get me into this powerful state where I'm able to now coach other people to do the same thing, overcoming that negative mindset, right? Overthinking, laziness, procrastination, anxiety, depression, mental health, abuse, trauma, the past. So that's my purpose. That's my passion, and I stand with that. With a deep, deep, like, belief, and like a deep rooted cause. That's who I am. You know. So if Hans does come back in the future, maybe, but yeah, it's just something for me that I don't really care about. And even though I know people love him, for me, it's more of a fulfilling experience to know that I can help people in terms of the systems, the processes, the strategies, the tools that I use in my program to help people overcome their pain. For me the comedy is just a temporary escape, right? You watch one of my videos that I made for, like, I know some people, to be honest, actually said that they overcame their depression because they were watching Hans. But sometimes it can be just a temporary fix where you watch a couple of comedy videos and you feel happy for that 20 minutes, and then you go back to your hole. So for me, it's about providing a service that is long lasting. And I really feel more content and fulfilled to be able to serve people, inspire and motivate, and help people live their best lives. So that's the answer to your question, Simon. Jagger CJ, would you ever visit New Zealand? Great question, man. I would, because I've been there for a friend's Bucks party in the past. I think it was in Auckland, but New Zealand is a neighbor to Australia, and I think they have a agreement that we can travel. Like, New Zealand is kind of similar to another state in Australia, so that we can travel without worrying about COVID um, passports or vaccinations or anything like that, in terms of getting tested or anything like that. So I definitely endeavor to come to New Zealand one day, very soon actually, because I'm looking forward to just I think I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do, because I can work from wherever I want. So I really look forward to actually traveling around Australia. I know because of COVID, the restrictions of traveling worldwide or going overseas to different countries at the moment is kind of restricted. So that's okay. But I think New Zealand is a possibility, because I think the Australian government has an agreement with New Zealand. So yeah, I'd love to come to New Zealand and stay for a couple of weeks. And I know there's a lot of beautiful things there, but got to take the time to visit. So definitely, definitely on my radar. Catherine, why do I keep dreaming about my ex-husband? Like, in my dreams, we are still happy and together. It definitely would have. Again, depending on where you're at right now in your life, definitely would play a role. Like, you could be in a mourning, grieving state of life, because you're emotionally still connected. You're emotionally still attached to the past life that you had. And if you haven't kind of like healed and done the work in terms of moving forward in your life, it's very, very easy for your subconscious brain to still be living in that past. So you still kind of, I remember in the past with previous relationships that I had, where, I thought about, my past girlfriends and what could have been. I've definitely probably had dreams as well. But, it's about your awareness to that and the meaning that you find in that. Now, you can choose to take that and pretend or have a meaning like, oh, because I had that dream, that means that I'm never going to be happy again. If I'm still focusing on that, then I'm screwing myself right now. Or maybe we're supposed to not be divorced. We're supposed to be together. It's really that defining awareness of your journey of who you are right now to question that and remember at the same time it's just a dream. Like we've all had weird dreams, again, putting meaning to it, right? If you don't want to put meaning to it, just say, well, it's just another dream, who cares, move on, right? It's your ex. Now, one of the things that is pretty challenging after you go through a divorce is being alone, right? Is moving forward. Now, again, I talk about this a lot in terms of time. Now, it can be divorce. There's a post that I have in the Dream Chasers. What's worse, death or going through a divorce? And especially if you've had a long marriage and you've had that, emotion, you got a lot of emotional connection over that period of time, and you get stuck on that reality that you've built, and then all of a sudden that breaks down. It's very traumatizing. So I understand that people say time heals, right? And to some extent, yes, take the time to just be with yourself. Take the time to you're not in that relationship anymore. Slowly move forward. But what heals you in the long run is action, right? Is leaning into your insecurities, your pain, your past, is release, is therapy, is communication, is expressing, right? Everything that you reveal, you heal. If you don't reveal it, like communicating, like what I'm doing right now, if you do not reveal, you don't heal, right? Basically, every time you keep shit in yourself, you're starting a war with yourself constantly. So if you've got a lot of pain inside yourself because of your past or because of your experiences of what you've been through, and you're not releasing that, communicating, expressing, revealing, then you're stopping yourself from healing. So it's a powerful question because, as you can see how deep I've gone into this, for you to maybe say, well, okay, Catherine, maybe now it's a time for you to go, okay, maybe I need to do some work on me. Because action will heal you, not another relationship, for example. A lot of us tend to think that, okay, I'm broken out of this relationship. Now I'm afraid to be alone. Now I feel inadequate. Now I'm not happy. Well, I need another relationship. So by going into another relationship, you band-aid your scars and your trauma and your insecurities or your fears with sex, with that other person, right? Because you feel like, okay, if I'm with that other person, I'm going to feel good enough and I'm going to feel content that I'm still validating myself and my life that I'm good now because I have someone else to cover up. And it's another form of escapism as well. You're escaping your pain, your life, by leaning on someone else. So be mindful of that, everybody, if you're watching this, because this is one of the hardest things that we tend to do. Again, we're social beings and we like to be around people. And the hardest thing to do, I have to tell you, is to have a relationship with yourself, which is what I've been doing for the last 3 years, is to build a strong foundation, build a relationship with yourself. Now, it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable, but like, this is why I say, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And most of the time, we haven't spent that time with ourselves because, we're social beings. You grow up with a mum and a dad, or with a mum or with a parent, right? And so you're always around people. And so by being always around people, it's absolutely normal and natural for you to always want to be around people. But remember this, that the more people you're around, the more possibility for you to be influenced by the world. And when I say the world, that means your parents, your friends, your community, your work environment. And so really the question comes back to you saying, well, if I'm always around people, okay, come back to the mind. Life is a state of mind. And if you change your mind, you'll change your life. But your subconscious programming, your psychology, and who it is that you function on the information that you have received into your mind. So the more people that you are around, the more possibility of you to be completely disassociated from who it is that you truly are deep in the core of your existence, because you're so influenced by everybody around you. Hence why I've chosen myself to take this journey of solitude, to reconnect with me, to not allow anybody to manipulate my mind or to influence me to live a specific or be a specific person. I've developed this person on my own. I've come back to me. I've chosen to say, okay, now I'm gonna come back home. Right now, I'm going to say no to everyone. Now I'm going to build a relationship with Luke, because I never have that. I'd never had that relationship with myself. So I was very easily and heavily influenced by the people around me. And what happened? Look what happened when I chose to come back to me and say no to everyone and say yes to me. Look what happened. Now I changed my life, and now I'm helping other people change theirs. Like there's your evidence that what I'm talking about is not bullshit. It's freaking real. So this may be your sign, Catherine, for you to take some action and lean into some of those past experiences that you've been in, so that you can build that stronger relationship with yourself, that better version of yourself. Because in turn, what happens, like, you want a better relationship, a healthier relationship, a more fruitful relationship, a complementing relationship. You want to attract that partner. Well, you ain't going to find that if you don't work on yourself, right? If you want better in your life, become better, become a better version of yourself, so that you can attract a better person. As you become that better version of yourself, what happens is you raise your standards, right? And what happens when you raise your standards? Well, when someone comes into your life, right, and that is toxic, or that is showing you some red flags from your previous relationships of, oh, this is how my ex-husband used to treat me. No, thank you, right? Because you've grown, you've got higher standards, right? You've learned to respect and love who you are, and you won't allow someone to come into your life and disrespect you or treat you like shit. In easier terms, you'll straight up say, no, thank you, that's not for me, goodbye. But if you don't have that respect and love and that strong mindset and foundation of who you are, you're dealing with insecurities and fears and inadequate and I'm not good enough and whatever, you attract exactly what you're afraid of, right? If you're afraid of losing someone or not feeling good enough, you're going to attract that shit into your life. And that's what you don't want to do. So that's why it's so important to have that relationship with yourself, which is what I teach and coach, to build a strong, to have your own fucking back, show up for you, become that better version of yourself, love you, so that you can't get manipulated or controlled by anyone. So I hope that answers your question, Catherine. Josie, why do I have low self-esteem about myself? Great question. Great question. I believe everything comes from your life experiences. So whether it's in your childhood, whether it's in previous toxic relationships, or just let's leave the toxic out, just previous relationships, whatever they were. So to give you an example, if you grew up in an environment that, let's use the pumpkin analogy, right? There's 10 pumpkins. 9 pumpkins are getting sun and water every day. The 10th pumpkin is just on the side there, and it's actually covered by a palm tree, right? There's a leaf that's covering this pumpkin. And every single day when the sun comes out, it reaches the 9 pumpkins, but the 10th pumpkin is just missing out. And even when it rains, it doesn't get that much water because the leaf is so big and it's covering that 10th pumpkin. So as these pumpkins all grow, that 10th pumpkin isn't nurtured, doesn't receive the sun, the love from the sun, that energy, and it doesn't get that much water either. So what happens? It doesn't grow. It doesn't become fruitful. It doesn't blossom, right? And so that's what's happened to a lot of us in our lives from all of these different experiences that we've gone through. It may be through your childhood. It may be that your parents were so busy with their own lives that they didn't have time to support you, nurture you, give you love and attention and validation and affection. Okay. Maybe you grew up in that insecurity. And then when you went to school as well, People judged you. People, bullied you. They called you names. They told you that you're not good enough. And you've now taken on those beliefs. Maybe you had a relationship where someone was constantly putting you down, right? And again, it all comes down to your environment, the people that you have in your life. They make you or break you. So if you have people in your life that are putting you down, that are saying to you, you're fucking ugly, you're disgusting, you're never going to be successful, you're never going to live a good life, you're inadequate, you're you're not intelligent, like all this negativity, like all these words, all this information that you're taking on, you're stupid. After you hear that, like so many times, right? How do you feel? You feel like shit. And then what happens? This information there's so much of it over some people have been in such fucked up relationships for like 10 years and they've heard this shit. Can you imagine that? Being in a relationship for 10 years and you're constantly hearing someone tell you that you're fucking shit. Like you are not good enough. You just, I don't even, like, you shouldn't be alive, but you have this fear of loss and you don't want to be alone. So you continue to, and maybe it's financial security, right? That's another big thing, right? Some of us in relationships because the other person is more successful, or they are the person that brings in all the money. So you don't have a choice. And you go like, if I leave, I won't be able to survive. I've got kids to look after. So you continue to allow that person to talk shit to you, to put you down, to bully you, right? And that has such a detrimental, negative effect on your mind. So in your subconscious mind, you can't help but be programmed with fear, with low vibrational information, which then turns into low self-esteem, low self-confidence. I don't feel good enough. I'm fucking shit. I'm never going to be happy. Okay. So those are some reasons as to why you may have low self-esteem. Again, the biggest revelation is that as an adult, your life is 150,000% your responsibility. Okay. And it's up to you now to stand up and say, well, you know what? Okay, I've been through all this shit, because you've got a conscious mind, right? You've got a consciousness, right? Right now, you can hear, you're able to make the right choice. You're able to think logically and say, all right, I've been through some shit. I don't always feel the best, but I can think the best for myself right now and say, okay, there are certain things that I can do to overcome this conversation, to reprogram my mind, which is, again, what I do. I help you reprogram your mind. We want to get rid of that shit. We want to get rid of all that toxic information, right? That's stored in your subconscious brain, and reprogram that, right? That's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, is filling myself up with positivity. Positivity is a superpower. The more positive information that you take into your mind, the less influences that you have from the outside world, from people around you, right? The more you take your power back, the more you live on a higher vibration, the more you feel like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can keep going. And the more that you continue to allow yourself to be consumed by the low vibrational shit, and people who comparing themselves to others, they don't feel good enough. You surround yourself with that kind of energy, people who are complaining, gossiping, all that shit, right? It's going to keep you low. So again, I'm going to talk about my program, the Superpower Mastermind, after I finish these questions. But one of the reasons, just touching on that for the sake of Josie's question, one of the reasons why everybody, all of my clients inside my Superpower Mastermind are having success and achieving results is because of the environment. I learned this in the Shaolin Temple. You're a product of your environment, right? And I just talked about the pumpkins, right? The 10th pumpkin didn't grow because it didn't get sun, wasn't nurtured. Same thing in life, right? The one thing that we're missing, the core ingredient, is love, right? And when you don't get that unconditional love when you're growing up as a kid, or you're in a domestic violent environment, You're seeing mum and dad argue all the time, right? It's negative, it's toxic, it's fucking hurtful, and it affects you. So it's up to you now to stand up and say, okay, where am I going to be defined by my past about what I went through, or am I going to change the meaning to that and say, okay, well, I have the power to actually change my past. How am I going to do that? Okay, let's look back at all those experiences that I went through that are shit, that are negative, that I feel that have affected my life. Change the fucking story. Say, hey, you know what? All of that, all those things that happened to me, like I talk about it as a kid. Okay, I felt like my parents were so busy. I felt like I didn't get enough attention. I felt like my mum destroyed my self confidence because she said I'm too skinny and I can't play soccer and other kids will break my bones. Right? All I look at, all these circumstances that happened to me when I was younger are a blessing. Everything that happened to me was meant to happen, because if it didn't happen, it was, if it, everything that was, everything that happened to me was meant to happen, because if it didn't, it wouldn't have, right? But it did. But I'm not a victim of it. I'm not going to sit here and complain, right? I'm actually sitting here saying, wow, everything that I went through in the past was a blessing. Now, I know that if you've been through sexual abuse or that kind of trauma, right, it's difficult to kind of go back there and go, well, that was meant to happen. Like, that's a blessing. Like, I was in even if you're in a abusive marriage, for example, and your partner was physically abusive or verbally abusive, right? Whatever your, especially those extreme circumstances, it's very difficult. And I'm not here to discredit your experiences, right? Because I know that some of these are really, really traumatizing. But I mean, my emotional distress and discontentment for most of my life was also hurtful. Okay. And I sometimes was like, well, yours is not that bad. Like, you didn't get raped or whatever, but it's not about that. It's about not comparing myself to you, but it's just about you and your awareness to, okay, yes, I've been through some shit. Yes, I didn't get treated with respect. Yes, I've got a lot of pain, but I can change that now, because I can change me. I can work on me. I can dig deeper to say, you know what? I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be defined by what happened to me. I'm going to be defined by the action that I take moving forward in my life to fix myself. So change the meaning to the past. And I look at my past and I say, everything that happened to me was a blessing. Everything that happened to me was meant to happen that way. Again, because if it didn't, it wouldn't have, but it did. Right? And you can't change that, right? You're here in the present moment right now. The past and the future are not real. All you have is right now. So what are you going to do right now? You want to overcome it, or do you want to keep living with it? You have to choose. So it's possible. Again, your environment. That's why my environment that I provide inside the Superpower Mastermind is love, unconditional love, support, encouragement, uplifting energy, complementing your life. It's not just your friends. It's not the environment around you. It's not just your partner, right? It's everything. You want the people around you in your life. You want them to complement your life. Uplifting energy, positive energy, right? Anyone that doesn't have that, you need to love yourself enough. Again, comes back to self-love, comes back to respecting yourself, comes back to having a strong foundation and relationship with yourself, that you're very receptive to negative energy. Anyone who comes into your proximity that is bringing those negative vibes, yeah, you're out, bro. Like, I love me enough. I protect my energy enough to say that anything that comes in my proximity that's not healthy, because it's health, right? Your health is at stake. The healthier that you are, the more you thrive. So pay attention to that. And that's why, again, you have that love for yourself to say, you know what? I don't feel guilty for doing what's right for me. This is exactly what I believe in, and this is what I'm going to stick to. So I hope that answers your question, Josie. Jordan, how to stop eating your emotions or drinking alcohol to suppress cravings? Look, the one thing that I can share with you in terms of escapism, especially because I mean, I used cocaine for quite some time. I was always heavily drinking. The two things that they did for me was they gave me confidence. And yes, it did. It helped me escape from the person that I was afraid of, which is myself, right? The fears, the I don't feel good enough, judging myself all the time, never content and happy with the way that I looked in the mirror. Okay. So I would be very judgmental, hence why I took fucking anabolic steroids to make myself look bigger so that I would feel like people would then love me more, or then I'd attract a hotter girl because I've got bigger muscles. So I went through all of that, but the cocaine also um, gave me a sense of status and purpose because I was also attracting attention from people who wanted to use it. So then that gave me validation that, oh, like I'm cool, like people want to call me or people want to talk to me and stuff like that. So that made me feel good enough, right? So it's a process, and the one thing that I'm not going to say is to stop. Like I'm not going to say that there's a way out in terms of, like, if you're smoking right now, for example, right? One of the reasons why you can feel bad about that is because you've got this belief that smoking is bad. Who said smoking's bad? Right? Who? The government, the Cancer Council, the organizations that do the research and tell you, okay, this is what it does, this is how bad it is for your body, blah blah. I mean, if you think about it, there's people that have smoked fucking their whole life, and what, they die of cancer at 80. Well, they fucking lived their whole life still, right? But again, it's a quality of life. But it's a story that you tell yourself as to the attachment that you're connected with as to why you do what you're doing. And most of the time, because we're so critical on ourselves, we judge ourselves very heavily. So you may have a negative attachment to alcohol, for example. And you can say, oh, after you have that big night, you're like, fuck, I'm drinking alcohol all the time. It's really bad for you. And I keep doing it. I'm an idiot. I can't stop smoking, and smoking's so bad for you. And I shouldn't smoke. And so I'm an idiot. Like I'm hurting myself, or I'm judging myself. I'm critical on myself, right? Because you have this belief that that is actually bad for you. Man, I love to fucking have a drink. Like, I just don't have time for it right now. It's not a priority because I've got a business to run. I've got people to serve. I've got, I need to stay focused. Like, this is the other part of business that I'm learning, that, hey, if I don't take care of me, how can I show up for others? So it's just a part of your journey right now, Jordan, that you're kind of going through, right? And you get to this point, like I did, to say, hey, what do I need to do in my life in order for me to feel better about my life? What do I need to do? How can things change in my life? And again, one of the biggest epiphanies or revelations that you can have is to realize that, well, in order for things to change, I need to change. Let that sink in. In order for things to change, I need to change. The other part of it is, what are you doing in your life that is unhealthy, that's weighing you down, or that's not bringing you peace? And so when I think about myself back in 2018, cocaine was a part of my life. I was available for everybody, had a lot of friends. Every weekend was a party. And if I look at that, I go, well, okay, I was in and out of relationships, um, definitely not attracting the right girls. My job that I was working in got to a point where I was like, it's not aligned with my dreams and goals of who I am and where I want to go. I'd been working there for 8 years, and I was like, 9 years. And I'm like, is this me? Like, am I going to be here for the next 20 years? I was like, no. So it's a process of elimination that I went through to say, okay, what's weighing me down? Your environment, people around you, your friends. Okay. So this is where, again, you start this journey of saying no to things, saying yes to you, say no to things. So say no to your friends, say no to that job, say no. That's what I did. I said no to everything and yes to me. right? Um, and and especially the cocaine. The cocaine was the hard one. That was very challenging because cocaine's really addictive, and it's when you take it, you just like have this highness. But stopping that, that was when I did that just naturally, that was powerful because I was like, fuck, bro, if you can just stop like that, wow, that's heavy. So I was very proud of myself for that because that was really controlling me. Like every time I had a little drink, um, man, give me a line. So you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But again, it's about taking action. And the fact that you're asking a question like that is powerful because that was the questions that I had to ask myself, right? It's about getting inquisitive, getting curious about, okay, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And how can I stop it? How can I change? What can I do? So asking yourself questions is powerful. I hope that kind of gives you a little bit more insight. It may not be the solution to your question, but again, it's insight. It's something for you to think about and to go, okay, well, that's how it worked for him. What can I do? Who's in my environment right now? What kind of people am I hanging around with? Because also that was a major part of me quitting the drugs was because I stopped hanging around the people that were using the drugs as well. Okay. Um, your environment again plays a massive role in who you are. So if you want to change that, you got to change your environment. You got to change the people around you in order for you to change. So that's really powerful. That I had to realize that my environment played a massive role in who I was. So I had to change that. Sandra, I hope you have an amazing day. That's not a question, but I hope you have an amazing day as well. Thank you so much. Bless you. Sending you a lot of positive vibes and love. Ivy, why are you still single? So I touched on that previously, but I will touch on it again. Over my years from finishing school throughout my 20s and early 30s, I continued to be in relationships that did not become what I expected them to become, right? So I wasn't attracting the right relationships. And again, I feel like the universe just took me through that road to feel rejection, to not feel good enough, to push and try to make things work, and to give me a lot of experience in relationships because now I have a lot of experience and I share that with my clients. Um, but I'm still very content with the person that I am in terms of understanding that I'm not hungry or desperate. And I used to feel that inadequacy and not feel like I was good enough because the people around me were all in relationships and I was like, what's wrong with me? So then you tend to kind of be desperate and you tend to want to find that person. And like I said, you always, whatever you fear, that's what you attract. So when I would get into a relationship, I would like love bomb, especially girls that I really liked. I would love bomb the shit out of them and just like fall head over heels. Oh my God, like I want to message them. And then, all that comes with then overthinking and, oh, why hasn't she replied to me yet? And oh my God, she replied to me and I get excited and then you don't hear from them for a week. Or then you try to organize a date and then that date doesn't work out and there's an excuse and all that shit. So I was constantly chasing all the time. So I just realized that all these relationships had taught me a lot of lessons, but in order for me to focus on me and become a better version of myself so that I could attract a better woman, that's exactly why I'm single. I had to give me the time and space for me to grow and not to be, again, not to be influenced by anyone. So again, raise your standards. How do you raise your standards? Is by working on yourself, personal development, transform your life, transform your mind, reprogram your mind, become a better version of yourself so that you can attract a better person into your life. Now, again, for things to change, you have to change. So I hope that answers your question because, yeah, it is a good question and it's definitely something for people to ponder on because, again, we are social beings. And so you naturally tend to feel like, okay, if I'm not in a relationship, I'm not good enough. Or again, you compare your life to others And if you're not in a relationship, then you feel different, and you feel like, your life is not going the right way, or there's something wrong with you. And that's how I felt, you know, for many years. But I have to tell you that I've I've embraced the rejection, because the rejection can fuck you up really good. It can make you feel like you are just not good enough, you know, when you kind of attracted to someone, or you want that relationship, or you want that companionship or partnership, and you approach someone and they reject you. But rejection, for me, rejection is just a redirection. So every time, whether it's in business or whether it's in relationships, whatever, rejection for me is so motivating, you know, because, yeah, for one, it's like, well, that person's not for you. Keep going, right? Because at the end of the day, why would you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you? Like, what the fuck's the point? What's that? Stupid, you know? So, um, yeah, I think it's great. But, the other part is that, again, for you to know you, um, really wholly understand who it is that you are, having a relationship with yourself is probably one of the best things that you can do, to not be afraid of spending time with you. And that's exactly what have been leaning into for the last few years, is having that relationship with myself that I never had with myself, because I was always giving myself to the world, whether it was girlfriends, family, friends. And I would say that I'm still happily single, because I love what I do. I love me, and I love helping other people change their lives. And I'm not in a hurry. A lot of us think that we're running out of time, you know. And I think just in my life right now, living with my parents, and I'm really blessed to have this relationship with them that I never had. So when the time is right, and I'm meant to be in a relationship, I want to allow that to happen, you know. But again, I've had to learn a lot about overthinking, self doubt, my values, my standards, what I expect in a relationship, who I am, what I deserve, and so you're only going to learn that when you step out and you really build a relationship with yourself, so that you can look back at all your past relationships and go, okay, why did I attract this person? What can I learn from this relationship? Because everything's a lesson, and the lesson will keep showing up until you learn it. A lot of us don't learn. We keep attracting the same fucking partners because we don't work on ourselves. We don't take that time to heal and to dig deeper as to why we are the way that we are. And the more that you lean into your fears and your insecurities and that low self-esteem or that overthinking mind, the more you understand who it is that you are. So that when you do attract a new person into your life, right? Because you could still possibly attract someone who's unhealthy for you, but because you're so self-aware of who it is that you are, right? That person won't last very long, because you'll pick up on the red flag straight away, and you say, oh, wow, um, that's bringing me insecurity. I'm overthinking now. I'm doubting myself. I'm feeling like something's not right. And when that happens, you just take action, right? Indecision is the cause of all worry. So you're not indecisive. You actually take action. You say, okay, I'm feeling not at peace. I feel like this is bringing me drama, and it's putting me in a state of dis-ease. I'm not at ease. So thank you very much. See you later. Straight up. So I hope that answers your question, Ivy. Thank you so much. And another question from Lynn. The next question is, are you going to get married or just stay single? Okay, another question on relationships. Look, my sisters are all married. I know that it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful experience and thing to go through, is to be married, is to find that one. I know that having the right relationship, or the right partner in your life, is magic. It's a blessing. It is something like love is powerful, and I know that having the right person in your life, especially in the way that I see relationships, will definitely add massive, massive compliments and positivity to my journey, to my life. Having the right person who complements your life, supports you, encourages you, because that's the only relationship I want. My understanding of a relationship is growth, right? Is evolving, is complementing my life, supporting my journey, right? Pushing me, inspiring me, motivating, believing in me. I don't want no person with some pessimistic mindset that thinks like, oh, nah, Luke, that's enough. You shouldn't go any further. You've built your business and this and that and whatever. Nah, man. Anyone that comes into my life like that, I'll tell them to piss off, you know? So, you know, I definitely am open to getting married, but I'm just not interested. I don't give a shit about that. Like, it's just the mindset that I'm having right now and the way that I am, because in 6 months time, I'm different than I was 2 months ago. If you listen to my last episode, number 98, and you listen to me now, I've evolved. I evolve every day, and that's the beautiful thing. But the thing of staying single, I will continue to just live. I'm not focused on it. When the time is right and that right person comes into my life, I'll know it, and I'll take it easy, you know. So there's possibilities of being married and all that kind of stuff, but it's not something that I really ponder on too much. For me now, it's about just living with purpose, building my company, because I'm here to change the world and I'm here to help you live your most successful life. And that's my main priority right now. So, yeah, and that's the thing. Like in terms of marriage and all that kind of stuff, like again, we grow up with that environment and the people around us who are doing that. So you also get drawn to. I know, I get it. Like it's the circle of life, right? It's get married, have kids, procreate, blah blah blah, right? But that's not for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, don't judge other people if they choose to live in solitude. Don't judge other people if they choose to get divorced. Don't judge other people if they choose to not be in a relationship. Don't judge other people if they choose to not get married in a church. Don't judge other people if they um, choose to have no children and get married. Like, don't judge other people for being in a relationship but not getting married their whole life. Like, who gives a fuck? It's their life. Let them do whatever they want. Like, let go of this belief system of, this is how it has to be. Like, who gives a shit? Like, stop judging people for not having wedding rings or not wearing their wedding rings. Like, having a certificate of marriage or not having a certificate of marriage. Like, fucking who cares? Like, as long as you're happy, do whatever makes you happy. That's what life is here for. And it's important for you to lean into what you believe is right. Again, indoctrination, uh, going by a certain, specific route of life, because there is this book, right, that tells you exactly how you have to live it. And if you don't follow that fucking book, then you're wrong. And it's like, no, you are in control of your life. Stop being influenced by the world and history and how you're supposed to do it, or how they tell you that you're supposed to do it, how your mom says you have to do this, or how your dad says, yeah, no, just do you, man. Focus on you and do what makes you happy. That's the truth. So thank you, Lynn, for that question. I appreciate it. Now, in closing, we're not done yet, but I'm going to talk about the Superpower Mastermind. And if you don't know what that is my 6-week program, which is there to help you to grow superpowered confidence in 6 weeks. Now, I post a lot of content on my stories, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, sharing a lot of, the testimonials, a lot of stories from all my clients inside that are having breakthroughs. And again, I mentioned that one of the biggest results, one of the biggest transformations or experiences that you have inside the program is the environment. And the reason why it has such a massive impact on your life is because a lot of the times that's the biggest problem that we're having in our life, is the fact that we're not surrounded by the right people. It's the truth. We're not. You're a product of your environment. If you don't like the product that you are, well, fucking change the people around you. Simple as that. hence why I've been on this journey of solitude for the last 3 years, is because I realized that my environment was toxic. The people around me were not supporting and complementing my life in the way that I needed it to be. And I could say that it's not just their fault, it was me as well, right? It was me being consumed by that and being fueled by the feeling of using cocaine and alcohol, because it gave me that confidence that I wanted, I wanted in real life, right? I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel good enough. I wanted to have that self-esteem. And the only way that I could have that was to drink alcohol and to snort cocaine. That's the truth, right? And that's why, one of the things that we're running from and we're escaping from is our own pain, our own life. And now, after going through a powerful experience in a speaking course on Facebook, in a Facebook group that really had a massive effect on why I grew and changed my life, I do that now with my own program, which is called the Superpower Mastermind. And it's you coming into an environment of love, unconditional love. Because if we go back to your childhood, if we go back to the deep rooted causes of you not feeling good enough, you fucking feeling inadequate, you feeling like, shit, I'm afraid, I'm scared to stand up for myself, right? I'm being bullied all the time. If you go back to all those experiences, the one thing that was missing, the one thing that's missing in your life, here's the secret: love. Love. That's the thing that's missing. So if you were nurtured, and I go back to the pumpkins, right? The 9 pumpkins, they got sun and rain every day. But that 10th pumpkin that had a fucking leaf over it and it didn't grow. Why didn't it grow? Because it didn't have the love of the sun. It wasn't nurtured. Okay. And so a lot of us have grown up in environments that were not healthy, whether it was sexual abuse or domestic violence, verbal abuse, physical abuse, right? It's not healthy. It's toxic. It's negative, right? So that's why you have such a massive transformation when you do my program, is because all I have to give is love. All the people that are inside, and I'm very specific actually on who I actually allow to do my program, because I only want to add more love and more positivity and more encouragement into the environment. So there is a qualification process. And it's not just me saying, yeah, anyone and everyone can do this. But yeah, by the way, obviously, well, not obviously because you don't know, but if you're thinking about it and you're a male, unfortunately, at the moment, I do not have a program for men. My program is solely for women between the ages of 30 and 60. And the reason why is because of all of my experience with relationships, is because I used to be part of the problem as a unconscious, toxic, destructive, habitual male who was fueling his ego a lot. And I also didn't treat women with respect when I was unconscious, when I was younger, and one example of that, so that I can paint a picture for you, is, there was one relationship that I had that I remember just telling this girl that I loved her just so that we could have sex, right? And again, that's the male ego and the manipulation of, say whatever you need to say so that you can get what you want. Because who cares? Like, who cares about what she thinks? Who cares about her feelings? Who cares about, what she's going through in her life, or you just want to have sex. That's it. So say whatever you have to say to get in her pants. And so, I became aware of that, and I was like, well, how would I like that if someone did that to my niece, or if someone did that to my sister? Well, I wouldn't like it, would I? So why is it okay for me to do that to other people, to other women? Why is it okay for me to say things that I don't mean? Why? It's not okay. So I decided to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So there's a lot of men out there that are very toxic. They've got their own trauma. And if I look back at my life, well, I say, yeah, fucking, you were traumatized, bro. You were insecure. You had low self-esteem. You had a lot of pain in yourself. So what did you do? You projected that onto those fucking girls that you were with. You didn't give a shit. You just said what you had to say to fucking do whatever you wanted to do. And they believed you, right? So I could have chosen to continue to live that kind of life. And I truly believe, man, what you put out comes back. You put out negative vibes, you're going to live a shit life. You put out negative shit, dark energy, you're going to get that back in your life. So I decided to be part of the solution. So I have a lot of insight and a lot of awareness as a male to allow women into that kind of male mind to understand how to not be manipulated, how to not be controlled, right? How to pick up on these kind of experiences in relationships so that you respect yourself, you love yourself, and you don't allow someone to come into your life and to control you. So that's one of the reasons why I work with women, as well as living with my three sisters for the last, from 20 to 33, so 13 years, I lived with all of my three sisters, and they've got 10 children in all of them added up together. So I've been an uncle. I've raised kids with them. I've lived with one of my sisters through a really difficult divorce. I witnessed and had a bird's eye view of what that's like in terms of children and how it impacts the children's lives because of that toxic environment. Having to deal with a toxic relationship or ex-husband that doesn't support or complement or encourage the dynamic of the house of the children's life, and there's that conflict in there, and it's toxic, it's negative, and it's very, very difficult to deal with that. So I lived through that. I've supported one of my sisters overcoming anxiety and panic attacks, and having 4 children and having such a hectic household, and having a bird's eye view of relationships in terms of husband and wife and marriage, and just living through all of that. I didn't realize that was, for me, one of my biggest blessings. I just didn't realize that all this information that I'm taking in over the last 13 years was going to actually help me now with what I do with my clients and how I coach people. So again, that's a lot of where my experience has come from in terms of as to why I work with women only. I'll continue on, just share with you a little bit more about the Superpower Mastermind, because this was something that I was trying to establish maybe last year, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I was doing one-on-one coaching at the beginning of this year. And again, there was that imposter syndrome of, am I good enough? Can I actually do this? I've been speaking and doing motivational speaking for the last few years, but how do I step into a place where I can actually serve people? I can actually use my gift of communication and my awareness and wisdom and experience and life and overcoming my own adversity to now help others. How can I do that? And how do I narrow down on, like, who are your people? Who are the people that you can help? So it's been a process. I didn't just get here. I've had to freaking work it out. And like last year, I lost $100,000 because I started to do a business with someone and it didn't work out. And I felt like they were taking me for a ride, and I got really, screwed over, and I went through depression. And so I've had to really fucking to get here, man. It's not easy. It hasn't. But it's just one rule. And DJ Danilo said it to me today. He said, man, the one thing that gets you to where you're supposed to be in life is that you just don't stop. You don't give up. Slow down, but you don't give up, So even just getting here, man, it hasn't been easy. But now, you have a lot more of a responsibility, because obviously I've got, for me, for example, I spoke to my sister yesterday, and I said, how do you do it? You've got 4 kids. You're just so busy. You're working. Your husband's working. You've got a whole house to manage. How do you do it? And she's like, you just don't stop. Right. But now I thought about me and my business, and I'm like, wow, you know what? It's like, even though I'm not in a marriage or relationship or whatever, but I've got all these clients which are kind of like my children, and I've got a responsibility. Like, I have to take care of them, and the best way that I can take care of them is to be careful, because I have to take care of me as well, right? In terms of my health. Like, a couple of months ago, I quit smoking and drinking because I was doing that at like 2 a.m. every night, because I was like having these busy days, and I was like, I'm going to have a smoke and I'm going to have a drink because I've had a busy day. And I just kind of felt good doing that, right? But I realized that my health is so important in order for me to like uplift people and be motivated all the time, and to feel that high vibe. I've got to really focus on my health, and take care of me. Because if I don't look after me, again, this all comes back to you realizing that if you do not fill your cup, if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of others. And so this runs true now with me, is that I'm really protective over my energy. I'm very aware of what I need in order for me to thrive, what I need in order for me to serve, right? In order for me to continue to coach and to help the clients that I have in the Superpower Mastermind to grow. So again, that's a major part for me to realize that, yeah, I may not be married and have kids, but I kind of do have kids now, because the the people that are these amazing gladiators and members inside the Superpower Mastermind are kind of like family for me now. Because again, I say this: your success is my success, and my success is your success. You know, there's nothing greater that I can do and be, is to be my own success, because you feed off that energy, right? And being inside my program, all you're doing is being fueled. Like, I'm here to fill you up. Like, you could be in a life experience or situation right now where you're drained, you're completely low vibe, you're lost, you've been consumed by everything else, and you've given so much attention, love, affection to everyone in your life, but you forgot about yourself. So my job is to come into your life. But first of all, right, you've got to say yes. That's one of the hardest things that I find, in terms of like, when I connect with people to give them information about my program, right? The mind, the subconscious mind is so critical and negative, that when it comes to change and the opportunity for change, you actually are in your way, because you don't believe that you can do it, and you actually stop yourself and you say, nah, not going to work, I can't change, it's too hard, right? And that is something that you have to consciously go, you know what, no, I can do this. I can be surrounded by positivity, and I can be it's possible for me to change. And it's not easy. That's why I say, like, I'm not for everyone, and everyone's not for me. And so when people don't sign up to the Superpower Mastermind, I'm okay with that. I'm at peace. I'm not here to force anyone, right? But transformation is possible, but you got to say yes to life, right? You got to say, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can surround myself with different people. Yes, I can take action. I can learn. I can grow. You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't take any action towards that, well, you never fucking know then. You'll just continue to sit there in indecision, and indecision is the cause of all worry. So if you don't want to be worried anymore, take action, make a decision. So again, I get the opportunity to be with my members and my clients every single day, to fill them up, to fill it with love and hope and faith and possibility and awareness, because that's the key, right? Awareness. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to give you information so that you can pick and choose and say, oh, wow, that makes sense. I resonate with that. That's healthy. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And that kind of awareness is exactly what you need. And that's why I thrive off my own growth, to continue to learn and grow, so that I can give back to the people who I'm coaching. And if you look at my Facebook story, there's an amazing gladiator that is inside the Superpower Mastermind. Her name is Malvina, and she's actually on my Facebook story right now. And what she talks about is not only the impact and support that she gets from me, but also the community. And she's like, I didn't have a family, and I was like lacking that connection with people. And because of the Superpower Mastermind and the community and the women inside the program, Now she's kind of like thriving in her life. She's overcoming her PTSD. She's overcoming her abuse and trauma and everything that she's gone through in the past because she's in an environment that loves her, supports her, encourages her, uplifts her, wants her to win. Okay. And that is having such a massive impact on all of my clients. Not, it has a massive impact on me because guess what? The clients also uplift me because they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Right. And it's kind of like, it's just a giving starts the receiving process. It's a give and give back, give and give back, give and give back. And this is what I learned when I did my speaking course with Mind Valley back in 2018, because I realized that I was receiving so much love from people and I was so afraid. Like some of the videos I was making, I was so out of my comfort zone and I was so scared. But these people who I'd never met before in my life were just sending me love and compassion and appreciation and telling me that you're amazing and you're so good and you can do this. And all that did to me was uplift me and it helped me believe in myself. So you may be in a place right now where you don't believe in the possibility of your healing. You don't believe you can overcome your anxiety. You don't believe you can overcome your depression or your PTSD or your sexual abuse or trauma or your inadequacy and your feeling that you went through when you were a child, where maybe you were abandoned or neglected, right? You don't feel like you can overcome that, but because you're in that environment that is telling you that, hey, you can do this. Like we're here to love on you. We're here to support you. Like you got this. Sometimes you need other people to believe in you before you start to believe in yourself. And I'll tell you, that was the truth that I had to go through as well in order for me to get where I'm at right now, is that I needed people around me, which I selected very carefully, to believe in me before I actually fully believed in myself. You know, and a couple of those people is David Power Talk and DJ Danilo, right? They had a massive impact in my life because I allowed them to. You know, you got to connect and vibe and make the decisions because, you know, I can look back. The first thing that came to my mind was Vlad and Andrew, my brother-in-laws, and my sisters, Dorothy and Christine or Caroline. And I'm like, well, then they believe in you too. And I'm like, of course they did. But as an individual and someone who is, you know, with the mindset that I have and my ambitions and goals, I gravitated to DJ Danilo, similar journey to me, David Power Talk, motivational speaker, right? So again, I connected with people like that who believed in me, right? Were living and breathing kind of what I was doing and trying to achieve. And that has helped me so much to become my full self, you know? So that's one of the major things. But let me just go into what's inside the Superpower Mastermind and why does it help you transform your life. So the first thing that we do is mindset, right? And the mindset is so important. Like I told you, like life is a state of mind. Change your mind and you'll change your life. Okay. And I tell you that your subconscious mind is completely programmed with so much shit. If you think about your life, how many years you've been alive, there's so much information there. Now your mind is primal, it's primitive, so it's designed to keep you safe. Okay, so there's still going to be that anxiousness and that fear every single time you step into the realm of possibility of doing something that you're afraid of. Okay, and it's actually normal. So it's important for you to become aware that it's normal for you to feel anxious when you're doing something that you're not used to, right? It's unfamiliar. But again, then it comes back to the relationship you have with yourself. Have you built one, right? Do you love yourself enough? Do you respect yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Because when you do have that, anything that comes forward that's you're afraid of or you're anxious of or you're insecure about, because you love yourself enough, you're going to say, look, I'm feeling a bit anxious or nervous right now, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to do it, right? And if you don't have that relationship with yourself, which I didn't have for many years, I always felt afraid. I allowed that to consume me. I allowed my emotional triggers and people who would bully me or call me names to have that over me. I would never stand up for my truth. I would never approach people and tell them what I really thought, right? Because I was afraid. So again, it's a state of mind. And the one thing that we work on is reprogramming your mind. Because once we get that going, right, then we start moving into the other different tools and systems that I use in order for you to then work on relationships, and we work on your inner child. We work on understanding your trauma. We work on researching your inner your childhood, going back to like when you were 7, 9, 12, those moments that you experienced that actually have really impacted your life. Like, come to think of it, I think about when I was a kid and I did something wrong. Well, whatever you want to, if it was, yeah, it's wrong. I came back from shopping with mum, and they left the car, and I got in the front seat. I pulled the lever down, and the van rolled all the way down and smashed into the garage. I realized I was going to smash into the garage, and I was like, shit. I was trying to fix it before it hit the garage. And then what happened? Mum got me out. She took me in the bedroom. She belted me, right? And I think about that. I'm like, wow, I wonder how much of a negative impact that had on my mind as a young boy. And I remember it was like 20, like the leather belt, bang, 20 times, bang, 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 bang. Because this is what I do inside the program is I take you down back to your childhood. I get you to research it, because your childhood is the reason as to why you are the way that you are today. And if you haven't actually gone deeper to understand your childhood, then there could be a lot of misconnections with who it is that you are right now. Like, for example, you think about an engine that's running and it has 6 cylinders. Like, because you haven't given yourself that attention to understanding your childhood, you could be running on 4 cylinders only. Like, there's 4 cylinders running, but there's another 2 that are misfiring. The spark plugs are not working, right? And that's why you feel like there's something wrong. There's something missing. You get triggered very easily. You're insecure. You're feeling fear. You're attracting the wrong people into your life, right? You're not in that healthy relationship and you can't work it out. So that's something that I really go deep in helping you do that as well. Inside the program is really addressing your childhood trauma, what you've gone through, because it's not about you being a victim of that. The purpose of it is for you to realize that you can change, right? And everything that happened to you happened for you. It's a blessing. Okay. It happened for you to learn from, to be stronger because of it, and to say, hey, I'm not going to be defined by those experiences. I'm not going to be defined by that. I'm going to be defined because of the actions I choose to make my life better from now on. Right? I'm going to validate me. I'm going to give me the enoughness. I'm not going to wait around for someone to come into my life and say, oh, you're enough. You're so good. I appreciate you. You're good. Like, you can live your dreams. No, no, no. This is where you take your power back and you say, I'm the shit. I'm enough. I can choose to surround myself with a healthier environment. Like the health part, when I say health, that has only been amplified for me now as I have a business and I have people that I'm serving, how important my health is. When I was just on my own and I was trying to start the business, I was still being consumed by drinking and smoking because I didn't have that extra responsibility. But now I can tell you honestly that because I'm serving and I'm helping other people change their lives, how the fuck can I help other people change their lives if I'm not living and breathing health in my own life? Right? And that's the same connotation as people want to change the world, but they don't want to change themselves. So that's another reason why I'm so focused, driven, motivated, empowered even more on a different vibration now, simply because I have a family. Like the people in my mastermind, it's a family. And to do this in a group environment is so much more powerful in my um, belief than for me to coach you one-on-one. And I know that the one-on-one coaching is still great, but in order for me to make a greater impact, for me, the team environment is massive. And for everyone it's different. Like some people don't like to be in a group environment. Some people want that one-on-one, right? But for me, it works really well right now, and it's just a blessing to be able to do what I do, because this was actually something I had to grow into, because I was afraid. Like I dealt with that imposter syndrome, even though like I look back and I'm like, well, you helped your sister, you helped your best mate, right? And yet you were afraid to kind of help other people outside of that because you didn't think you could do it. So I've had to go through this journey of like taking action and then getting out of my comfort zone continuously, getting a business coach this year that opened my eyes to how I'm doing things and how to communicate with people and different ways of communicating and delivering what it is that I'm actually selling, so that I can um, make more of an impact. So again, it's all I've had to grow into this. And again, people think, oh, I want confidence. And I thought about it too, like 3 years ago. Why don't I have confidence? Well, confidence is not something that you're born with, right? Again, your environment and your childhood has a massive impact on how you feel about yourself, okay, the way you're raised. But in terms of self confidence, self confidence is something you can build. And I didn't get it. I was always looking at other people. Again, I'm lost in the world of comparison. When you get lost in the world of comparison, again, what you're showing is that there's a disassociated state in your psychology, that you're not connected with who it is that you are. You don't know who you are, straight up, right? So again, it comes back to the number one rule. The most important relationship that you should have in your life is with yourself. Not with your mom or your dad or your sister, your brother, your family members or your friends. It's with you. It's quite odd and foreign to some people because they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Luke, I love you, bro. So proud of you, man. Keep going. I know you've got a negative mindset sometimes. I know that you doubt yourself sometimes, but we didn't come this far just to get this far. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep taking action. We're going to keep serving. We're going to keep filling our own cup so that we can then help others, right? So it's super, super important, again, to realize that you can be in your own way, or you can get out of your own way and actually move forward. So doing what I'm doing now and helping others change their life is just a blessing. And I think that the relationship that I talk about in terms of the relationship with yourself, loving yourself, reparenting yourself, that's the other thing that we talk about and we work on, is conscious reparenting. A lot of people probably haven't heard about that, but that's really like showing up as your adult self and saying, okay, what was I missing? What was I missing as a kid? Like you think about that right now in your life. Think about your childhood and what you feel you needed more of. Maybe you needed mum to hug you more, communicate with you more, spend more time with you, validate you more, tell you that you're enough, like you're beautiful. You can achieve anything that you believe in. Maybe you needed more of that and you didn't get it. So this is you stepping out and consciously saying, well, you know what? I may be 44 years young, sorry. And I will say sorry for that because that's my vocabulary, is when you say your age, right? Take away the age of old. You're not fucking old. Okay. You're 55 years young. I'm 36 years young. Right. And you think about where you're at right now in terms of what you were missing as a child. And you say, okay, well, now I'm going to show up and I'm going to consciously reparent myself. I'm going to start to give myself what I didn't get when I was a kid. I'm not going to rely on my mother or my sister or someone else to give me what I feel like I was missing. So that's what I did last year when I realized that I was still dependent. I was still codependent on my mother's validation. I still wanted mum to say, Luke, I believe in you. I love what you're doing. I love your speaking and your sharing with the world, and you're helping and inspiring people. In the back of my mind, in my heart, I was yearning for mum. I felt it because I'm living with it. I felt it. I was like, I want mum. Like, my mum is one of my biggest teachers because she triggers me so much. But I realized that, wow, I'm waiting for mum to validate me. Like, I want mum to say, Luke, wow, look at your transformation. You quit Coke, you quit alcohol, you got away from people who you felt were not good for you or healthy for you. You've completely transformed your life. You moved to China, you lived in Chicago, you've gotten out of your comfort zone, you've grown confidence to speak your truth and to speak in front of people. Wow. Like, congratulations. Like, you're so amazing. That's what I wanted. Like, that's what Luke wanted from his mum. Right. So that, when I think about that, I think, well, okay, that takes me back to my childhood, that I feel as if, mum was quite busy. Mum didn't have that much time for Luke. And so I was yearning that. So I could put that deeper into say, well, there was maybe a bit of neglect and abandonment, right? In my childhood. So I was yearning that validation. And I realized at that point last year that I was like, this is where conscious reparenting comes in. I was like, wow, this is time for me to take my power back and to say, hey, look, you don't need your mother's validation. You don't need her to tell you that you're amazing, that you can do this, that congratulations, you're so great. You don't need that. All you need is you. And so there I started the process of reparenting myself, revalidating myself, and telling myself that I'm good enough. I'm proud of you. You're amazing. What you've done in the last few years is extraordinary. Congratulations. I started to be my own parent. I started to give me what I felt I was yearning for and missing as a child, or even as a grown adult. Right. And then I realized that I was dependent. And a lot of us are living with that, but we're unaware of it because we're seeking that gratification. We want it. We want to feel like what you're doing is good. Okay. So again, inside the Superpower Mastermind, that's what we work on, conscious reparenting. And then as we move forward there, then we talk about relationships, how to attract the right relationship into your life. We also, for those who are in relationships, in marriages or whatever, we also touch on healing in relationships. So again, communication is huge, and we go deeper into, fixing or addressing or understanding different forms of, ways to actually heal your relationship, and we go into that as well. Sometimes with the work that I'm dealing, it can seem as if I'm always talking about or dealing with people who are going through divorce or have come out of a divorce, and so it's all focusing on you and building you up again. But the other thing that we also work on as well is the healing in relationships, because it's not that I'm an advocate for divorce. It's I'm an advocate for health and peace and love. And if that's not where you are, well, then you need to ask yourself some questions and go, okay, if I'm not in peace right now, if I'm in a depressive state, or in an anxious state, or an unhappy state, okay, well, you're not in peace, you're not in happiness. Okay, so if you're not in happiness and peace, well, where is that for you right now? If it's not where you are right now, then where is it? So it's obviously not there. So it means that you have to move, right? Then again, indecision is the cause of all worry. It sounds like that statement is the statement of the podcast, episode number 99. Welcome. You're in a state of dis-ease. So if you're in a state of dis-ease, well, you want to find that peace. How do you find that peace? You got to move. You got to make decisions, right? You got to dissect. You got to reflect, right? And pay attention. Because a lot of the times in our life right now, what we're dealing with, we're in our own way. Like, we're the reason why we are depressed or anxious is because of the environment and the place that we're in our life where we're not happy about. So again, everything that you reveal, you heal, and a lot of the work that I do inside the program is therapeutic. It's therapy. Just like I say, my best friend, DJ Danilo, he's my therapist. Like the therapist needs a therapist. Like I'm not afraid to say it. I fucking get stressed as well. I'm human, right? Where's my outlet? I went to my mum a couple of hours ago and I said, Mum, I'm freaking stressed. She's like, what are you talking about? You're the motivational speaker. You're freaking this, you're that. And I'm like, yeah, but far out, man. Like I'm doing a lot, you know, it's a lot on my mind. I've got a lot to handle and to work on. And again, I'm human, you know, so I'm not afraid to be vulnerable and to seek help or to call my friend and say, bro, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm like overwhelmed, you know, and then talk it out, you know. So it's very powerful to be in this content state of growth and self-awareness so that you can allow yourself to 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 get what you need, right? So that you can be healthy. That's the, you know, it's only when someone gets really sick or when you can't do what you're normally used to doing that you start to question and realize and go, oh wow, you know, I should have taken care of myself, or wow, I should have got out of that relationship a lot earlier, but I didn't believe in myself, or you know. And so that's why it's in hindsight, it's always the case, you know. So in the moment you can do hindsight right now, okay, and say, well, this is happening to me. I'm in this uncomfortable situation right now because it's meant to wake me up. Like there's a reason for this pain right now. If I think about my relationships in the past, there's a reason why I went through them. I had to learn. I had to wake up to my greatness. I had to experience these traumatizing experiences so that I had to experience the rejection, right? Of the not enoughness, not feeling good enough. Like you know, it's not working out for you, Luke. Everybody else's life is better than yours. I had to feel that in order for me to grow. So a lot of the work that is done inside the Superpower Mastermind is transmutation, is transfer of energy, is transmuting your pain into your power. Okay, like your pain becomes your biggest superpower because you overcome it, right? It's like you're climbing up this mountain of depression, but actually what we're doing is we're getting to the top. And then once we get to the top, we overcome it and then we come down and it's a lot easier, right? And that's where you get to kind of open and share. And the reason why I say that, you know, what I'm doing is changing the world, because it is. Because when you change yourself, you impact the people around you. When you transform your own life, right, that creates inquiry. People around you feel your change. They feel your energy. Okay. They see your transformation. They see your growth. They see your positivity. They feel it. And it makes them want to ask questions, right? They're like, how did you do it? What did you do? How did you overcome it? Right. And so your pain turns into your story, which turns into your knowledge and wisdom of information to say, hey, you know, if you're dealing with shit right now, this is how I overcame my trauma and pain and insecurity and inadequacy. This is how I did it. So I can now provide a safe space for you, right? So that you can heal, so that you can overcome, right? And that's the blessing of work that I do now, is because the transformations that people are having inside my program, they're changing the people around them. So I'm not only have I only changed my own life, but now people I'm working with are changing theirs, which means that it's having a ripple effect on people around them, which is, this is how we change the world, ladies and gentlemen, right? We don't change the world by watching the news and getting consumed by what's on the media, because the media is trying to keep you on a low vibration. The more negativity that they throw out there and you watch it, the more subconscious negative programming that you have in your mind, which is going to keep you on a lower vibration. So the more positivity you surround yourself with, the better you're going to feel about life. So if you're watching the news and if you listen to the radio, be careful, okay? Because the radio is toxic as well. Not the music, but the fucking news breaks. News breaks. Let's talk about car crashes and shootings and death and wars and this and the virus and the fucking. It is just so toxic. It's disgusting. Like, get disturbed by negativity. The more negativity that you surround yourself with, the more that permeates through your fucking body and you hold on to that shit. And then it comes out with negative thoughts and feelings of lack in your life. So be very mindful of that, because you don't need to listen to the news and you don't need to be consumed by the bullshit that they keep feeding you. And that's why there's only 1%. They say, 1% is successful and all that shit, because it's very, very hard to break out of that psychological manipulation that the world has pushed on you for X amount of years. I had to realize this, man. I realized it 3 years ago, man. Shut that fucking TV off. Like, I'm not saying don't watch movies and enjoy some time to watch some Netflix or whatever, but the news, switch that shit off, man. Switch it off. And that's one of the things that I talk about in mindset. The first week that you start the Superpower Mastermind, one of the first things that we talk about is elimination, right? Getting rid of shit in your life that's not healthy for you. And one of those things is TV and news. So anyway, guys, I think I've been speaking for a fair amount of time, and I think I've shared quite a lot about my program. It is a 6-week program. It is to help you build superpowered confidence and overcome your laziness, procrastination, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, overthinking, self-doubt. Again, it's all mental health, because life is a state of mind. If you change your mind, you change your life. Overcome your depression, overcome low moods, overcome that negative story that you keep telling yourself as to why you can't live a better life. But in turn, what it's all about is about self-awareness, because you may be in a toxic place right now and you don't even know it. But because when you start to love yourself loudly, speak your truth, and do what's right for you, you're going to start to see the truth. And you're going to start to become very self-aware of what it is in your life, and realize that, wow, you know what? I'm not actually depressed. I'm just in a fucking shit environment. I'm in a toxic environment. I'm in an unhappy relationship. I've got the wrong people around me, and I've got to now love myself enough to do things that I'm going to maybe feel a little bit guilty for, because naturally that's what happens. You kind of start feeling guilty for doing what's right for you, which is what happened to me as well. I felt that, but I was like, no, I'm doing what's right for Luke. I'm saying no to everyone. I'm saying yes to me. Right? So now, because I've done that for so many years, now I'm full of love. I'm full of positivity. I'm full of confidence. I'm full of being able to speak and share and say, okay, now I can pour into my clients. I can pour into the world, because I poured into myself. I said no to everyone and yes to me. But this is a journey. It's a process. And I don't have a green or red pill that I can just give you and all of a sudden you're going to change your life. Right? It's a system, it's a process, there's strategies, and I've had to learn all of this. And so now that I've learned it, I get the blessing to be able to use virtual world, social media, and technology, basically, to create this amazing program called the Superpower Mastermind, so that you can transform your life. And the biggest thing as well, as much as I can be your coach and support you, be available for you, you got to do the work. Like, that's the truth. I'm not here to tell you that once you join this, you're going to change, because I'm here to give you the tools, right? I'm here to help you. And obviously my distinct service is that I empower the fuck out of you. And when you need support, I'm here and I motivate you. Like, I'm your in pocket motivational speaker, right? And there's nothing greater. And so I really pride myself on that kind of service, because all you have to do is say, Luke, I'm having a shit day. I need some help. This is what I went through. And then you send me a voice message and I got your back. So, I've had to have my own back. And again, like I said, sometimes you need that extra energy around you to kind of like, I'm here to be your wind beneath your wings when you can't fly yet. Because right now you're kind of trying to fly, but it's not fucking working, and you can't get enough wind because you're so drained by that toxic energy or that your negative mindset, right? That you've been living in for so many years, and you can't fly. You're trying to fly, but it's not happening for you. So I'm here to give you that wind so that you can start to fly. And not to mention, there's some beautiful people inside the Superpower Mastermind who, they just have so much love, compassion for others, even though they're still going through their own trauma, their own pain, you know. So shout out to everybody who's in the Superpower Mastermind if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, because you are just all phenomenal. And what you're doing, it takes courage. Like, it seriously does. For you to start to be inquisitive and ask questions and to research your childhood and do like the work that I'm giving you to do, it's fucking hard to do this stuff, man. Like, most people are afraid of it. I was afraid of it for so many years, so to do the work that is happening, that I'm working with you, helping you do, and how you're growing in confidence, it's a blessing, man. Honestly, keep up the great work. I love you all. It's really an honor, and a blessing to be doing this podcast. I've had a few weeks off from. I normally stay really consistent with the podcast, but again, to try to find that balance in your life, to be able to manage everything, like all of my business, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, emails, clients, and have a social life, like, and go to the gym and eat and do your washing and clean your room, and the list can go on. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to be kind and gentle with yourself to say, hey man, you're doing so much. Like, don't be hard on yourself, because we can be very, very critical and judgmental on ourselves, and think that we're not doing enough. So remember that all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. Straight up. Right? And at any given moment, you're doing your best, So keep doing your best, and keep loving yourself, because you got to live with you for the rest of your life, You can't run away from you forever. So this is your message, to lean into that discomfort or pain or insecurity a little bit more, because there's that younger version of you that is actually trying to communicate, and is constantly doing that through your intuition, your gut feeling, right? Your insecurity, your low self-esteem. That younger version of yourself is speaking to you saying, hey, I'm here. Like, love me. Give me some attention. Like, I need you. I want you. And the problem is that we keep rejecting that younger version of ourselves because we're afraid. We feel inadequate. We let the fear control us. We've been dumbed down by the world, by all the negativity, right? We get fueled by gossiping and complaining about things when we really should be focusing on ourselves, on what we've been through and why we are the way that we are. And the more that you start to ask those kind of questions, the more that you're going to dig deeper into your own truth so that you can live your most extraordinary life. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So in saying that, in closing, thank you so much for all the questions that you asked. I think in the Dream Chasers, I used that post where I wrote, ask me anything. So thank you so much for all the questions. It was a blessing to answer those questions for you. I hope you got a lot of insight, and I answered them well enough for you. I'd also like to just take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody who listens to my podcast and has taken value from it. Your support means the universe to me. It's amazing that I'm on episode number 99, and the next episode is episode 100. But this is the Lukemindpower show, and it's a blessing to be doing this and to be sharing and inspiring. It's very easy to give up. It's very easy to stop because you feel like you're not making enough impact, or you're not getting enough attention, or people aren't seeing you, right? But if you think about the world and you think about the amount of people that there are, and you think about social media as a whole, right? There's a lot of people and everybody's fighting for their life. Everybody is showing up. Everybody's taking action. And so, you know, things are not supposed to happen for you straight away. You got to trust the process. It's like anything, whether it's success or it's overcoming your depression. It's a one step at a time process. It's a one day at a time, right? And it's important for you to realize that there's no secret ladder or secret door that's going to take you to that place that you want to be at. It's important for you to get attached to right now, because this is the blessing of life you have, and everything that you do today matters for who you become tomorrow. The past and the future do not exist. It's great to have ambitions and to have an optimistic mindset, but don't get attached to things that are in the future that you don't have yet, that you feel that if you have that, you're going to be happy. Okay? Because again, the secret to happiness is progress. So if you're making progress, then you're happier because you're moving, you're in motion, you're creating that emotion, which in turn is that momentum that you need to continue to grow. Okay? So don't give up on yourself. Keep working at it. And if you want to learn more about the Superpower Mastermind, and if you want to get in touch with me, you can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can send me a message on Facebook. The links for my Dream Chasers Facebook group, if you'd like to join the Dream Chasers, that's a great family that I have. That I will leave all of the links in the description below on the podcast. And I look forward to hearing from you. Remember that the only thing that is stopping you from that next level of life is the story that you keep telling yourself as to why you can't have it. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you have an amazing day wherever you are. Never give up on yourself, because I could have given up so easily. And here I am today on the 21st of June, 2021 at 3:32 p.m. and I'm still going, and I'm still taking action, and I'm still loving myself, and I'm still believing in myself. Even though I can tell you the truth that when I started this podcast today, my mind was scattered. And it was just like, bro, you're not switched on for this. Like, you need to take a break. Like, you're dealing with too much stuff. You can't do it. Right. So it's very easy to allow your mind to control you and to tell you that you can't do something and you're not good enough, and that it's not going to be worth it. Uh, you're not going to make an impact. No one's going to see it. Like, there's just constant fucking stories that will try to weigh you down and slow you down and stop it. And that's why I say, man, positivity is a superpower. Surround yourself with the right energy. Listen to the right information. Don't watch the news. Sending you so much love and blessings. Just remember, the biggest and most important relationship that you need to have in your life is with yourself. I'll see you on episode number 100. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So good. I'm just closing up Facebook